there, Sharon?
Ready.
Okay, call the meeting to order. First off, it's financial statements. I believe you all got those in the email. What's around here? I see there's all these pages with a bunch of zeros on there. Is that?
The numbers on the bottom of the
Yeah,
page.
I was just wondering if there was a way to condense.
No.
Okay.
That's the way, I don't make a monthly generate.
Okay.
Because it's for each additional accounts, those particular accounts don't have, they're independent of the other funds.
Okay.
So
Sure. Okay.
that was the information you asked for.
Mhm. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Motion to approve the financial.
I'll make a motion. Financial statements for. We are here. In May. Okay.
Anybody know what time to look them over, or? Okay, do we have a second? Any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Good.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. How many fireworks? I missed that, we'll get that next.
Every year we just, out of common courtesy, just get the city's permission to sell fireworks. We're gonna be doing memory fireworks again up at Krause Super Value, so selling June 27th through the 5th.
I'll make a motion to approve for memory fireworks, or the date she asked for.
Okay. Second? I'll second. Any further discussion?
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, I forgot the approval of the minutes from the 18th commission meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 18th commission meeting minutes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on it? Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, sales and use tax application approvals. I think you got a thing in here. Sales and use tax, they basically, I guess we'll go through them here. They basically approved all the proposals that were sent before them. First one was Parks and Recreation, $2,500 for safety equipment for the swimming pool. We have to go through these one at a time now?
Yes.
Okay. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the Parks and Rec safety equipment.
$2,500,
Yeah.
okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? That is, up to $2,500. If they spend
Yeah.
less, then they get less, so.
I think it's like a backboard and,
AED.
Yeah. and some Supplies, so. Keith?
Aye.
Good.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, then, the Special Assessment Systems Fund for $10,000. They approved that. And that's taking place of the stuff we took out of the budget. And that's a one-time deal, once it's gone, we'd have to. Anybody want a motion? I'll motion that one.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Good.
Aye.
Right. Then the city of Washburn, here it says 540,000 by now, it's actually like 270.
But when you add the surge funding.
Right, but this was from sales and use
Yep,
tax.
yep, you're
So,
right.
and actually, I think it's 230 was a buy down and 40 was for sidewalks, so
Oh, I see.
that's okay. No big deal. So anyway, so basically, they approved the 150,000 for the general buy down of the project. So do we want to make a motion on that?
Yep, I so moved.
Okay. I'll second that one then. And everybody understands that's the general buy down, 100,000 from streets and 50,000 from economic development, I believe it was. Okay, any other discussion on that? Keith?
Aye.
Aye. Then there was, let's see, then there was it 80,000 for the truck route, correct, that was, from streets. And motion on that one.
So moved.
Okay, a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Good.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then 40,000 for the sidewalks, and what that is, it's 50/50 share. The homeowner would pay 50, and this money would pay 50%. And that's something we're gonna need to decide on how, we're gonna have the engineer, go out and actually look these over or what, but that's what it's for, so. I'll move to, accept that. Once it's those things. Okay, any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Fit?
Aye.
Okay. All right, Flying T, Harold, come on up.
Can I come here?
I suppose. Well, get on camera.
There you go.
Okay, basically, when was that? Not last Friday, Friday before, I think, you had asked. All right, and asked to go down and look at it, to submit your payment or whatever. And then Kit and I went down and we thought it wasn't quite completed to satisfaction. And I guess we didn't get anywhere with that, so we said come to the meeting, so. The concerns we had were, did you give everybody a copy of that? I had sent that to you.
Oh, I didn't realize that was what these, I just asked you that.
Oh.
Okay. So I did not.
I got it. But thank
Can I
you.
pass it around? Here.
Yeah, I got it. Well, basically what we had come up with was, demolition debris was not adequately removed from the property. Which, after that, you had went and picked up some more stuff. Failure to backfill the excavated areas and graded to the elevation as directed in the project requirements. Portion of the alley was disturbed while sloping the dirt wall in the rear of the project. Unfortunately, this caused a possible safety issue with the alley. The alley will need to be returned to its original width. And then the area by the gas line, we need to fill with dirt level. Those are our concerns.
Well, they're all addressed. We did pick up more stuff. As far as the alley, if you look at that picture, actually, we got a little better one here.
I had forwarded this picture to all.
There seems to be a little confusion as to remember how the building actually sat in there. If you look at how the line is, that building goes back behind there. I didn't touch that alley.
I see that cement building was actually recessed further back in than
I just pushed
the
it.
lumberyard was actually.
And so to say a straight wall is a safer situation than what I left was wrong. And as far as the grade, we had 2 inches of rain, and the next day, that lot drained, and there was still water in the alley. I got pictures of that if you want.
We actually took the surveying equipment out and it was like, what is it, like a 4 1/4 inch drop from the back of that lot to
Well,
the
4 feet
4 feet.
from
This
that
is the
lowest
original
spot in that
building.
corner
This
to
is
the
the
curb.
lumberyard.
To the
4
curb.
feet.
This is the other building.
Well,
And it shows in the spec it's 3/4 of an inch
So
of
there's-
positive drainage.
So
Well,
that's-
certainly that's 2 inches of rain, bro.
it's not
I can
draining.
show-
It's
I
not
can-
draining though.
I can show you pictures of the lot right behind here that same day. it's the same way. And in the alley, right beside you on higher ground, there's water standing once it gets
And there's
drained.
gonna be, there was like inches of rain, like in the.
I
corner of
shoveled
the
that in there
street
because it was an
after
inch
that
low.
rain. This is,
Yes, I shot that and it was an inch low in that hole. 10-4. And the spec says from the highest to the curb is 0.05, and if you convert that, it's 3/4 of an inch from 125 feet. It actually drops 4 feet. 2.5, over 2 inches of rain, and that thing, yeah, there was water standing. There was water blowing on down Main Street too.
You know, the thing is like this alley, you know, the grass line used to be from here to here.
That's incorrect.
Oh, I don't think so.
That's incorrect.
Really?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, look at the picture.
I do, I mean, I do agree with Harold after seeing this picture, and that,
Show me a better one.
what it is more cut. See, I mean, this is where the lumberyard itself was, and this is that cement building that was there. See how much more recessed it in?
And keep in mind here, Larry,
Yeah.
that cement is still there. That grass was over the cement, and look how close it is to that pole.
yep.
And
And
that grass
actually, if you
blew
go
over.
out, if you look, a good reference point for like that first
But you
building
look how far
is
past
that,
the pole you are in this one,
pole.
Joe. Look how far past the pole you are in that one.
Of course I am, boss. You're on the next building. This is the.
This is that pole.
Okay.
This is that pole.
10-4.
This
That-
pole and this pole right
This
here
wall is there. That
is
grass.
very good reference to where.
This pole is that pole. And then this building went out to here. This here, you see it goes back like 4 feet, goes back in here, comes across.
What he actually did, what you see, the slope here, is actually backfill from a lot of what happened, from some of the lot. It was more push-up. It wasn't
was pushed up.
anything having to do with taking any part of that grass and taking it down or anything. It was actually when we brought the dozer in, it was bringing dirt in from the lot. And when we leveled it out, we just took the dozer head and went like this and leveled it out. It's not like we took chunks with that backhoe and out of the alley by any means. And if you look at the telephone pole, which I think would be like, is the best reference for that first,
Well,
for that
there's
first
two-
building.
There's 2 poles there too.
You can see that how much dirt is left in front of that telephone pole, how much was there originally, and then in the picture that Larry had, kind of shooting down, you can still see that there's still about a foot, which was the original in front of that telephone pole. And it still remains now, it's just,
That picture's got the foundation still sitting there. And that block, it looks like it's about this far from that pole, but those blocks had grass over the top, it blowed over the top of it, you know. And I was down there at 2 o'clock in the morning, that water was coming down the alley, it wasn't coming over the wall.
and it was draining just the water, there was no residue, there was no dirt coming off of there, so I mean, the soil, it's good
I'm not
quality
worried about
soil,
water
too.
coming off the alley. I'm worried about somebody driving.
Not
off the
alley, no, we're talking about just the drainage, because the other issue that you had pointed
I
out
thought you were
was the
talking about-
adequate slope, the adequate sloping.
And I know we're talking about the drop off here, you know, on the alley of that, but overall, you did a great job.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, just because we're talking about a couple of these issues, I just don't want you to think that we don't.
Well, and
Something to
before,
look at.
honestly, before we took that dozer and pushed up some of that dirt, it was actually a straight drop off. And I know, Commander, you had been by, I mean, it was a straight drop off. There
Well,
was
you-
no curving at all. And so what we were trying to do is to just push up some dirt and eliminate some of that safety issue.
Yeah,
And
but, you know,
unfortunately, it's just caused a whole.
Fortunately, you only did that in one spot, you know. But you addressed this problem here, Harold, right, where that sharp drop off was there, you addressed that? You fixed that, ramped that corner down now?
Well, not way in the park corner.
Oh, it's still straight up and down yet?
It's not straight up, no, none of it's straight up. No, everything's got an angle.
Oh, okay.
Yep, yep.
I haven't been back down there, I apologize, I haven't been, but, but looking at this here with, you know, where that brick building, that cinder block building was, that is at least, like you say, it is 3 feet past the original foundation for that lumberyard, so I guess now I see why it is that much further out. You had to go that much further to get the whole building and that foundation of that building out.
Okay, talking about the alley issue there.
Yeah. That, I mean, I can see that, that's
Okay.
pretty simple to see. I mean, I didn't realize where that was, and you know what, just,
Everybody forgets, I mean, I didn't remember that it actually went back that far. I kinda thought it was a straight wall, but it wasn't.
Mhm.
That building went back further, apparently.
There's
than
no
what was said.
setback out that alley.
no,
to where
back
that
in
building-
19 whatever, there probably was no rule for that, so.
Right.
What about the water issues, drainage issues? I mean, that's still, I think there needs to be more material held in there, but.
I think so too. I mean, I think there'd be a little bit of addressing. I don't think it's gonna take a lot, Harold. You know,
We're 4 feet, we're 3.5 feet, it goes up. That, if you read the way it
yeah,
says,
but
you go
where
from the
did you
curb.
set up your leveler thing? Did you put it right in the middle of the
Yeah,
lot?
10-4.
And then every 5 feet north you went, you took a reading, and then
It
5
says-
feet from
it-
that?
The contract says from the curb, from the nearest curb. If
I
you
believe
read
it
the
says the
contract,
highest
if you read the
part.
terminology of the contract, it says plus 0.5%. On 125 feet, that's only 3/4 of an inch.
It
That
says
thing
highest,
goes
it
over
says
3
highest
feet.
point of the adjacent curb.
10-4.
Well,
3/4
I
of
know
an
you're
inch, a
definitely
grade
not
on
that.
125 feet is 3/4 of an inch. It goes almost 3 feet up to that low corner, and that was actually 1 inch below. When I shot it that day, after I called you, I was
Mhm.
sitting there, and I called Larry and asked him to come back, and he wasn't able to come back. I shoveled that, as that picture shows, I shoveled that 1 inch in that little corner, and of course with water, it shows you exactly where the low spot was, so I shoveled it in the hole. So I guarantee you, it slopes.
I guess my opinion is it needs some more dirt in there to
Well,
make it more level so it drains.
so
Two
the
inch.
the issue would be surveying it and having people look at the numbers, because we can go back and forth and have you not agree and either one agree. The only thing that's going to be agreeable on in concrete, black and white, is the numbers. So how do we go about
But,
that?
I mean, it's pretty obvious by looking at the pictures, there's water sitting.
And it's gonna be guaranteed in any yard after 2 inches of rain within a certain amount of time. It's guaranteed.
Well,
When
the
it's sitting in the
biggest deal is
street,
when you
it's-
look at it and you can look across there and you see a dip here and it comes up and a dip there. That's, I mean, that's our concern. That's what we're talking about, is the dips and the low spots. If you could get a blade for 15 minutes, a lot of that could be taken care of.
We can landscape it, we'll do that for an additional cost, that wasn't part of the original contract.
I think it was.
It isn't. I mean, if you want us to tear the grass back up, it's just about up.
Oh, it's up. I
You
went
know, I
by
mean,
the other day, it's coming up.
I think we
well,
did what we said we're
actually.
gonna do. I think it's time for you to do your part. It took a 2-inch rain, and I'm not kidding you, there was water sitting right here behind the building, I drove around that morning.
We're not talking about it.
Okay,
I understand, but it's the same event.
so what are we allowing, like, we're allowing for, right now, basically after rain and settling of the grading that we did, there are some areas that collected water and now there's dips in it.
It's not, it doesn't say it's a level grade either, it's not a tabletop. It just says it needs to water positive grade, which it did in 2 inches of rain by the next day. I don't know how much better test you can get than that. I got pictures of it. And there was water still standing in the alley. So, and then with, also in that corner there, I've also got the bounce out from Weber's building that shoots in there now, that didn't because the building was there, moved it down further down the line. I shot that grade, it was 3/4 of an inch low in that corner. It's an optical illusion because you're standing there in the end. And I asked both of you to come look at it, and both of you weren't able, not the right laser set up to show you. And I shoveled into that hole, so I know for a fact now that it's at least level and down to 3 feet to the curb.
So your concerns are the potholes, like that you can't look across them right now? Is this what I'm understanding, like what you're saying? you're saying like where the dirt is apparently settled, because when we left and when we seeded, everything was, I mean, it was flat, it was, we had rakes out there and we, you know, it was completely level. So apparently there's been, what you're saying, some settling or something of the topsoil that's there.
There shouldn't be that
The-
much settling
the
though,
whole-
because there wasn't a basement down there.
It ain't so, it's not level,
Well,
it's not gonna
the
be
problem
perfectly level.
also
That
is
wasn't what the
though-
contract said.
But that ground is very, very soft and cushy, like you're, like, there's some kind of issue going on underneath there that, I don't know, you can walk and you can bounce on it.
In that one spot, it seemed to be there was an excess
There's-
of water there. right?
There's quite a few, and it's actually quite a big area if you walk around, it's spongy, I don't know what's going on underneath or whatever that's going to address, and, I mean, even if we were to go back out, I honestly don't know, I mean, we're not trying to pull anything here at all, I mean, if there's settling or something, whatever, it could be attributed to what's going on underground too. It's not like we're gonna go and leave a bunch of divots and say, hey, you know.
Well, I think you need to understand that, you're just trying to get what we paid for, you know? I mean, you know, we have specs, required specs, and we kind of expect to get what we paid for, you know? So, I mean, that's where we're
Absolutely,
coming
that's why
from, you know?
we're having a discussion.
So,
But we also need to know where to go from, specifically from here. If it's, you're suggesting bringing in more dirt and then say what if it settles again because it's ground issues, it's the softness and whatever else is going on.
This survey, it's right. I took the laser and I've got a $5,000 laser, I'm not guessing.
We're talking about.
I'm not guessing,
that are-
standing on the end, there's an optical illusion. There's gonna be ups and downs. It doesn't say it's tabletop level. It says it has to have a positive drainage. We had 2-inch rain. It was dry the next day. I don't know how big a test you can give them that. I guess it's up to you, because if you guys don't wanna pay me, I believe we did what we said we were gonna do. I think it's time for you to do what you said you were gonna do with paying. I don't know.
Well, I think, at least, guys gotta go over there, you know, put some dirt around that gas pipe. You know, do something right there. As far as that sloping and stuff like that on that alley wall, I guess that's, I don't know. I guess the building's taken out, you did what we asked, and I guess that slope is probably our responsibility now, I suppose.
I would still like to see like at least a load of dirt, you know, to level out that area more so those little ponds aren't sitting there. I mean, it's like a load of dirt and some leveling, really.
Which isn't in the contract. We could cement it and put on to build an apartment there, would be nice too, but it isn't a part of the contract. I was asked to remove, demolish the building and take the cement and put the stuff out. I did that.
And grade the area
For
for
positive.
positive surface drainage.
And we had a 2-inch rain event. I think it should be. I live in this town, I was half price of a big number, I'm not here trying to screw somebody, I'm gonna be walking up and down this street, I'm not here, but I think I did what I said I was gonna do, and I expect you to do the same. That's it.
And it does, I mean, if you go back to that part of the contract and you look over the expected condition of the site, it doesn't say, it just says seeded and it says positive drainage.
I don't even think it says seated.
Yeah,
Really, I didn't see
it
that.
does.
Where did it say seated?
I wouldn't have seen it if it wouldn't have been in.
No, I didn't think it said seated. Anybody?
I'll make a motion to give final payment to Flying T Construction for their work.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Aye. Good?
Aye.
Aye. No? Okay, you'll get it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, bid auction date and information for land sale of Old Lumberyard.
So that'll be the next, item in the process of the lumberyard is, it's currently 6 lots. So you have to decide if you want to sell it as 6 lots, it'll go for auction, or if you want to go for 3 lots. You know, if you want to sell it at its entirety, if you want to divide it up, and then what day you want to look at for, we'll coordinate with David Lindell, and maybe we'll do land auction on
Oh, you're talking like a regular auction? Would it be like a
Land
bid?
sale.
They
it. He calls it a bid, he calls it a bid auction. So
Okay, bid auction, so you can bid and then.
They can raise it.
They can raise it.
At that time. Bid it.
Okay, then we need a minimum, or we can set a minimum if we'd like,
Correct.
correct? Did David say when he thought would be a good time to wait, or do it right away, or?
I think we should do it before fall.
Who's phone?
You know who's buying the first round?
Is you really insane, so we just need to decide on,
That's the first, the
How we're
first
selling
step.
it and
The first step is you need to decide what you're actually selling.
okay.
So that's not something.
Do we want to think on that till next meeting, or do we want to come up with that, or what do we want to do?
I'd say sell all of them together, wouldn't it?
That would be my guess.
I mean, that's, if I was a buyer, that's all I'd want, it all as a package deal, I wouldn't want to individually do it.
And there's been a couple of people who are interested in it, that's what I do this for, and
Oh, okay.
it does ask for all of it.
Do we want to set a tentative date, or?
I think it's a date schedule will determine the date.
Okay.
But I think just for that, you, just the 6 lots to sell as the 6 lots, and then
Okay.
your base price.
So we're pretty much in agreement, it's gonna be 6 lots then?
I think so, that's all, I think that's, yeah, I think.
So are we gonna
yeah.
set a minimum of 60,000 on it then, because that's what we have into it, or?
Yeah, I have to. I wouldn't bring it up.
Well, if we don't set a minimum.
How much we got in it?
60, bought it for 20 and maybe 40.
25.
Huh?
25.
I bought it for 20, wasn't it?
About
Oh, okay. So we got 70 into it.
Well, you got 40. We got 60.
Oh,
here.
okay, yeah. Okay, there.
So do we need a motion to set it up that way, or?
for minimum price.
I will make a motion to set it up for selling all 6 lots as a whole, and a minimum bid price of $60,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
I,
Aye. Then we'll just have to see what David says. Okay. Okay, office will be closed July 3rd. It's a Monday?
Friday.
Friday, okay.
Our employment policy says it falls in the weekend, you get a day off.
Yep, absolutely. Land deed for Val Hill Twit. Come on out.
I don't know if you guys have copies of these.
We do.
or- yeah, okay. Years ago, and I should have looked up the exact year, but I forgot. We had, this is our, probably about that.
Yeah.
This is property along Fifth Avenue, across the street from the Baptist Church, Joe Freeman's property now. Okay, we had that platted, our piece platted. When we purchased it, it was 2 unplatted for, so, you know, so many feet this way, so many feet that way. Owned by 2 different people, so they were funny shaped pieces. Anyway, Dave was doing a title opinion, Dave Lindell was doing a title opinion on our abstract, and this has been over a year ago, but I didn't get around to doing this until now. Well, actually, I had to work with him, but anyway. When he was measuring, going by those meets and bounds, he found that this little triangle piece was never owned by anybody. We talked to the county and asked about getting a deed from the county on it. And the county said, well, we don't own it either. They said this Washburn Townsite company did. There is the slight discrepancy because Dave said the Washburn Townsite company isn't the city of Washburn. The county says this is where you're supposed to get it from. So unfortunately, it's just a discrepancy. What we're asking for, a quitclaim deed from the city to us for this little triangle piece. It just says whatever the city may own, you're selling to us, giving to us. I didn't discuss a price in my little note. If you want something, that could be up for discussion too. It's right next to Fifth Avenue, right along the street, and then it's the Methodist Parsonage property on the other side. Actually, it's an unplatted alley over here,
Right.
but it's next to the Methodist church.
What is it like? 20 feet by
I had,
something, or
it is,
5 by 32 by 20 maybe? Or something?
right, 25 by 32 by 20. Yeah, it's a triangle.
Do you own just that one lot, or do you own more?
Oh, no, we still own 4 here.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it is a possibility it'll be built on at some point. So that's why I'm trying to clear it up now. That's
Absolutely.
just an explanation, so that down the road, if there's a mortgage on it,
Right.
this won't create a problem.
Anybody have any questions? I will make a motion that we deed this over to the Hilltwits for $1. Get everything straightened out and back on the hole.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Pete?
I,
Wait. I said aye. I say aye. You nodded, say yes.
Thank you very much,
You bet.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Vivian?
Yes, I'm here just to make you aware of a number of things at the Green
Okay.
Old Courthouse. As the Historical Society, we are concerned, that the exhibits inside remain safe.
Right.
There are a number of things about that building that bother me a little bit, and I just want you to be aware of them.
Okay.
Maybe you have to do something about budgeting. I understand that's a city building,
I understand that, yes.
and we are not responsible for keeping it up, but I just made a list of things, and I think everybody sees as they go by, the paint is peeling badly again.
Do you have a
I'm
list?
not sure how soon we want to have that looking all spiffed up, but in the green building upstairs, there's a room that used to be called the prisoner's room before you got in the courthouse, and we've used it as a children's area with buggies and dolls and et cetera. And the ceiling is coming down. Cement or plastered ceiling.
That's been that way for a while, hasn't it?
It's been for a while, but during the winter, we didn't go in there and check it out. I sent my helpers over one day. I said, check everything out, do the lights work, and this, that. And they came back, the ceiling's coming down. Now, it hasn't come down any more than it did that first time.
Okay.
And Mrs. Reisenauer has been real good about cleaning it up, but we had to move things out just in case more comes down. Upstairs, there are a couple of window glass that has been broken. Some of it's been taped up before, but I found 2 new window panes that are cracked upstairs. And I put some tape on. It's a temporary fix.
So there's just 2 total, or there's more than just 2?
I just saw 2, and that's, about a week or 2 ago. Some of the windows have been covered with plywood upstairs on the back side, and that plywood has come away from the window enough so that birds are coming in and making nests in next to the glass. We've had trouble with the print shop, which is the old fire hall, for quite some time, and work was done there with the Legion paying for most of it, I think. And it's still get a good rain, and we have puddles of water. It runs to the edge of the roof, which is pretty flat, I guess, runs down, and because the paint is making little cups there, the water stays and then soaks in through the walls. And there's the old bathroom. It's really interesting. You go in there and see where the cement has come off the walls, and every so often there is a piece of rotted wood. So evidently they used logs in with the cement when they built that. And so that's just letting water come in. And what that's doing, of course, is causing rust in all that machinery in there. And we bring in the fan on a sunny day and try to, move it up. Outside, as I walked around the building, there is a tree very close to the wall by the green building.
Which side?
You know where there's an entry that goes downstairs?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Right behind that, there is a tree that's growing.
Next to the old Superior Center.
Against the white building, and of course, if the wind blows, that hits the windows. And I'm concerned that maybe the roots are going to be encroaching into the basement and breaking that up. There's also a pile of some long logs that were used for, I think, flower garden edge at one time, and a pile of brick, red brick, also along that basement, which I think all these things should be removed. Now, I don't know who's going to do it, but I'm going to throw it at you.
This was brought up last year already, wasn't it?
Pardon?
Last year or the year before, this is all the same stuff that's been,
Nothing's been done.
exactly.
Now, I don't know, what your budget is, but is it possible that you can do something to alleviate some of those problems? So, oh, and then one more thing, and my husband keeps getting after me. The painting of Lewis and Clark and the Chief that's on the other wall on Keith Dew's building, part of the sign has been ripped off evidently by the wind and is missing. Now, I'm not sure what it's supposed to say up there. Does anybody have any ideas where we can find out what's on there? Does the city, you suppose, or the leader or somebody have a picture that says what the printing was? I know farther down it mentions that the Historical Society was involved in getting that up there. So we're willing to help get it back, but I don't know what it said. So these are just a few of the things that that concerned me, and I'm just throwing them at you to see what you can do to help.
Can you get that list to Joan, and then we can get our guys to come and look at it?
You have my list if you wish it.
Okay, and I kind of wrote it down here, but my handwriting stinks.
Oh, I don't need a copy.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I don't need a copy. We just try to keep the exhibits inside in good condition, and
Right.
if the lights don't work, we usually call an electrician or something. But in the past, when we have done some things, like working on the log cabin or doing something at the school, and then I have been told afterwards, well, that's park board or so-and-so, that's really not your concern. But it is, as far as keeping the exhibits in good shape.
Right.
We need to have the building in good shape.
Well, it has to be intact, absolutely.
Pardon?
It has to be intact.
Sooner or
So,
later.
Yeah. I remember when, quite a few years ago, we cleaned all that out of the basement. That was a big project, because it was all rotten.
We're not
down there.
concerned
That
much
was
about
one
the
thing.
basement, except I'm thinking what tree roots can do. Growing right next to the basement, they could wreck the foundation there.
Well, I will volunteer to go with the guys and look it over and, see what we
Okay,
can't
great.
do.
I know
right
it costs
away.
money, but the Historical Society is able to help with some of that cost. We do have some funds that we can spend, and the money comes from the county anyway.
Okay.
But we would like somebody to address those things.
Right. Well, it should be. I mean,
Please,
it's a
and
city-owned
thank you.
building, so we should address it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Gary?
On the corner of Woodgate and Rough Rider runs north and south. And the city has a drainage ditch there. And over the years, I've bitched before and complained, but the water, that's the outlet of the culvert, and you can see that the ditch is filled just about as high as the culvert. This is another picture of the outlet. This is after the heavy rain we had this spring or here a couple of weeks ago. And nobody had come by and cleaned out the outlet or nothing. So it backed up in along my property that much. And if you don't do anything, it eventually kills the grass. Because it just lays in there, because the water has come down and backwashed on my side also and filled in there about 8 inches now. So it's 8 inches higher in front of the culvert and the rest of the ditch back, so that lays in. I finally dug out a little trail to get it out of
I
my.
saw somebody did that. and
Well, I didn't want my grass to die any more than it was.
Appreciate that.
Have you looked at this over the past couple days?
Well, I-
Shirley Nelson, didn't Kim go down and clean that out? Didn't Shirley
I
do
believe
it
so,
last
yes.
week? Yeah.
I dug it out and put it on the side of the road because I didn't want to throw it in the ditch.
Okay, and then Kim went and picked it up?
The
and cleaned
other
it
day,
there?
yes.
Yes.
But, there's some more pictures of, right now.
But are you saying it needs to be more dug out of there as well?
Well, right now, after a rain, and it don't matter, there'll be water at the north, or the south end of the culvert, the drainage, the outlet end. Right now, the water is laying in there 12 inches deep.
What's the hole there?
It's not a hole there, it's filled up in the culvert, 12 inches. Don't tell me there's a hole there.
No.
My side,
I see what you're saying.
the other side is 8 inches deep because the culvert drains.
Oh, I see.
The ditch is filled up at least a foot in there. And I have mentioned before that I wish somebody would take care of it, clean that ditch out, take the sod out, lower it back down and put the sod back in, and it would alleviate the problem. We have the same problem in the spring of the year when we have a heavy rain, you know that. So I think with the onslaught of mosquito season right now and the water lays in there for 2 weeks at a time, I think something should be done. And that's all I've got, you guys.
Well, I know years ago, we had dug those out, but that was a long time ago. Long time ago.
They've dug out the end of the culvert. Well, that doesn't do no good because the culvert ditch is still filled in. So you got a hole at the end of the culvert that far, that's got setting water in it too.
Right,
So it's gotta be,
Right.
and if you do anything, I hope you slope it so we can mow it decent again.
Yeah, and well, the problem is, it's a very shallow ditch. The culvert's not big enough to handle anything. That's
Well,
one of the problems. That's why it backs up. But it also backs up because it needs to be opened up. But,
both,
it can only take so much.
both sides gotta be cleaned out, the
Yeah.
silt's gotta be cleaned out. If I wouldn't open it up on my side, that little drainage ditch, the water would lay in there for 2 weeks at a time and then you end up with dead grass. Shirley's side and our side, we try to keep it looking as nice as possible. So I would hope that,
We'll get something done after that.
even if it would be a matter of just getting sod cutter, cutting out the sod, and taking a loader and scooping it out and hauling it away and lay the sod back in. Seems like,
Wasn't that more of an issue that the culvert's plugged?
no, it's the outlet of, the ditch has filled in from silt over the last several years for about 30 feet there. It's about a foot higher than what the bottom of the culvert is
Oh, okay.
on the outlet side. So it's not that it, I think the culvert is pretty much clean, so whatever you can do, I'd appreciate it.
What's that little side street?
Rough Rider and Woodgate.
Woodgate, there you go.
I had to look at the signs too, I just live over there.
Yeah,
So, you know, it's,
we'll see what we can do there.
It should, I think, eventually it's gonna be where the water will not drain out of there at all, because it's just, and just to shovel out the end, the water has to force itself up over, and that ain't helping matters.
No, I know. It's not the best design. There's too much water for the tiny little area that has to go through, but
Whatever.
we'll get it dug out.
Thank you.
You bet, thank you.
Make sure you do both sides of it, both.
Oh, absolutely.
Front end and.
Absolutely.
And, back into the north ditch there, so that
Absolutely.
drains out too. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Special liquor license request for Mac Place. Looks to me
This
like,
this is for Riverboat Days. I'll make a motion to approve his special liquor license request.
I'll second that. Looks like it's the same thing as every year. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Kip?
Aye.
Aye. Ducko special liquor license for Captain's Cabin.
Same request, oh, that's for, I make a motion to approve the special liquor license request for Camp's Cabin.
That's for Friday, right?
Yep.
Anybody second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay, appointment of election officers for August 25th special election and set wages.
We have to have 3 election officials.
Okay.
And these 3 people have very graciously agreed to serve for us. The
Okay.
county wages are $12 an hour. So,
Works for me. I will move that we appoint Val, Elaine, and Terry as the special election officials and set their wage at $12 per hour.
I'll second
Any other discussion? Keith?
Aye.
that. Aye. Aye.
Tree removal Meadow Drive. Is that you?
We went up and looked at that. I mean, that was brought up at that last meeting, I guess, and I didn't catch on to that, and I apologize. Over West Sowers land.
West.
And they were supposed to, then they, what did they add up, 23 trees at that, the first time the boys went up there and looked at it. And I went up there on Friday and looked at it. And there's 9 trees on the south side of that road, on the apartment side.
On the apartment, okay.
And there's a group of 5 and then a group of 4, and Turk and Adam were saying that that's right over the top of a water main that runs through there.
Okay.
So I can understand take them out. On the north side, on the other half there, he's worried about the trees falling over onto his building. Well, all of these trees here, there's no way, I don't feel that we need to come out with all these trees in this little grouping.
Okay.
There's one little one right here that is pretty much well dead. The obvious one is this one right here,
Okay.
leaning way over. There's another one that kind of comes up and goes over this way also. There's maybe 3 or 4 right in this little group that I feel that we should take out
Okay.
to cover our insurance, our part of it.
And then there's some on this side.
And then these ones right here,
The ones right next to the
it'll
road?
be this group right in here, this one, and then these back here,
Oh, okay.
all them right there. And they said that's running, there's a water main that's running right in that area.
Right.
So them I can understand, I mean, that's,
Yeah, and basically, well, also it's not so close to the road. then,
Yep.
correct? And then,
Yep. as far as these over here, like I said, there's only
okay.
4 at the most that we're gonna take out. I don't see any, you want to look at them?
Did you see that?
Any reason to take out all them trees.
Okay.
so how many trees total? Because when we bid the project, we had just gone.
Turk, what did we come up with?
Well, I thought we had 9, but I.
9 on that other side,
Right.
and then 4,
3 or 4 on that other side.
Did you mark them all with red paint?
they were gonna go back up and do that.
Oh, because I was there yesterday and I can only find 7 with red paint.
Oh,
But I don't know.
yeah, I just,
Yeah, we went, or Adam and I went up there too, and I just looked and I'm going, well, it does look like there's only 7 of them with red paint, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think there's only 7 we have marked out this time, so.
okay,
I went and, I thought there was 2 more, but.
that's, yeah. I thought there was 9 on the apartment side alone, because there was a group of 5, there was 3 kinda all in one little deal, and then 2, and then that other set had 4 of them in it, so.
So we should, like, tie a ribbon around it or something, or we should go look at them again, because we're not sure what we
Yeah,
got now, right?
yeah, exactly.
Well, and for the bid, the contractors want it specifically.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Then we have one on Main Street, the other side of that coulee.
Two, I think.
Is there two?
There's two, right?
Yeah, and it's where we're gonna be putting new sidewalk in an area, and it's pushing the sidewalk up. So we're gonna need to remove two of those over there
You
too.
talking that way or this way?
Yeah, that way.
Oh.
Yeah, here's-
Oh,
Yep.
And then you might as well put one on there, is that the,
is that on
The
her
green
side of the
building.
sidewalk or on our side?
It's on our side.
It's on the boulevard.
Right in
That
front of the
boulevard.
fire hydrant.
Oh, oh, I see, oh,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
and we'll put that tree on there too from the green building, historical place.
All right, well, I think we'll probably need a motion to get away with the 23 tree request for bids. We'll just scrap that, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
Unless we start adding them up here.
Well,
Throughout town.
Well, the thing is, they're gonna be going different areas, it's not gonna be the same bed. you know,
Oh.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we scrap the 23 tree bid project.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Aye.
Aye. So then, you and Brian will get together and decide all the things, and then
Yep.
we'll have to
Redo it.
redo it, yeah, we'll have to.
Do we need a special meeting for that?
Yeah, we're gonna be
We might
okay
have to.
time-wise as far as when Knife River comes in. Make sure those trees are gone before Knife River comes to town.
I don't think they're gonna be here for a while, are they? It keeps raining.
Yeah, that's true.
For what's that for? Oh, for the sidewalks?
Yeah.
Sidewalks.
You're gonna need to, the bid will need to be placed for at least 2 weeks. The,
Well, we can always have a
request
special
for
meeting on that if we
proposals,
need to.
so.
No.
But, so, you and Brian are going to designate which trees, and then just go ahead and let me know how many trees, so I can put that in the paper.
Sure. You wanna do that right away tomorrow morning, Brian?
Yeah.
We'll just,
Ribbon them or whatever.
yeah. What time you wanna meet?
Do we need to do a motion on that?
I think you can motion for Commissioner Bauer to make a decision as to how many trees will be
Commissioner Bauer?
taken. Bauer.
I'm a hell of a lot prettier.
Sorry.
I so moved.
Wow.
Can't move off of mine.
I move that Commissioner Bauman
Thank you.
and Turk will go out and come up with the number of trees that we need, and then we'll put a request for bids out.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Anybody know of any other trees that we need to add to this list?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's just it.
There's some trees by Tyler Vetters in front they had cut down when they redid the roads, but I don't believe they removed those stumps from them.
In the boulevard?
Yep.
Anyway, let's vote on this.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So, okay, now we can get back to our figuring it out. So we got stumps. Yeah, you realize we're just doing the stuff in the boulevard, because the rest
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
we don't do, so. Okay, well, I guess if somebody knows of something, they get a hold of Kit,
Yeah.
and, I mean,
That's
obviously we don't want 100
anybody
trees.
too, I mean,
But,
you guys do if you don't want something in the boulevard or anywhere. You don't
yeah,
want
I mean, we don't want to have a list of 100 trees, because we can't afford that.
it,
Okay. Bob? Come on. What?
When we pull back the out of the forestry fund, or is the city going to pick up the cost, because we might as well get that out of the way now.
Well, trees are kind of a forest, they, of course, they don't have much money, though, do
No,
they?
they do
No.
not. They do, a lot of the forestry fund goes towards the different plantings and things that they have in town. And they concentrate on all of the highway plantings, and they do an
Oh, yeah,
excellent
they really
job
do.
maintaining those. But it is costly, so a lot of their funds go towards that, and then the Arbor Day and.
I think this is probably gonna
Yeah.
fall on a city deal, being that nobody planted these trees, that's the bad part. You know,
Yeah,
that's, I don't know, I guess, I don't know, how do we, Do we see little trees that are popping up where they shouldn't be? Do we start pulling them and getting them out of there to avoid?
Well, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem, is nobody ever does it, but, sorry about that, Bob. Sit down, please. Okay. Snow emergency.
I've got problems. I'm Bob Kapfer. I live down at 1208 First Avenue, just down from the city yard on the gravel road, no curb and gutter. And I've been having, year after year, a lot of trouble with, in the wintertime, when the snow gets bladed, most of the rock ends up in my yard. I got a few pictures here from this last year. And I don't know, I was gonna, this is probably backwards, but I was gonna request that the city compensate me something. It cost me like, $250 to get some kids to, I can't do this stuff anymore, to rake these rocks out. There was, from along the side of my property, it's a pretty good sized piece of property. There was about like two pickup, if you load two pickup full, backs of two pickups full of rock. And it's just the stuff that gets bladed off the road and into my yard to where I can't, I can't cut the lawn or anything. As a matter of fact, on the east end, I've been there for 24 years, and when I first moved there, there was like a little berm about this high by the side of the road. Now it's almost 3 feet of city stuff that's been building up, and my lawnmower is, I can't, I'm having a tough time trying to cut it. And, so I don't tear up all my blades. I usually get somebody in the spring to rake the rocks out. And just this year alone, it was, I was just gonna see if I can get like a couple $100 back on this thing, because it cost me, the kids were in there 2.5 days, 2 of them. And
This is on City Boulevard, right?
that's,
That's not actually in your lawn, right? It's on Boulevard, outside of your
the
property
rocks
line?
now are, they've been raked out of.
Because isn't this pole like that be your property line, that pole?
No.
Oh, it's not?
That's a stake that we put in. Remember about, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, we put some stakes along there to try to help
Oh, is that what,
to
okay.
blade so that people would know kind of where the edge of the road was after it snowed.
Oh, okay,
And we ended up taking most of them out except that one.
okay.
That's still in there, looks like, almost like a power pole. But that's kind of to give the idea of where, and the thing is, about this whole road down there is nobody that lives on, east would be like the, I don't know, north
The
side,
other
on
side,
the one side.
railroad track side.
Yeah, there's nobody, not one person lives there. All of us people that live down there are on my side of the road. And what I was at had been in, Larry probably remembers, years ago, I've been in half a dozen times, hoping that in the wintertime, when they blade the snow the other direction. Then this won't happen. Then it goes.
Does that cause us problems, any type of problems going the other direction?
Well, it actually does, first of all, you build a big ridge there, and then, you get more snow coming, and you get a bigger ridge and bigger ridge, I mean, that's one concern. Basically, when you clean snow, you clean one side goes this way, one side goes that way, I mean, that's, for ease of cleaning, speed of cleaning. And I feel bad for your rocks, but, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's gravel, They don't try and do that, I know we've gone back and forth. There's a lot of places in town that people go, why don't you just put it on the other side of the street? Well, it really doesn't work that way cleaning snow. It's,
Well, I'm just mainly for the, our convenience for everybody that's on my side that cuts their lawn. Like I said, there's absolutely not one person that lives on the other side. And I've run maintainers, back in the old days when I was younger. And it only takes like 10 or 12 seconds to take that blade and go, and it could be bladed, you know, whichever end you start on, it could be bladed all towards the railroad tracks and would be in the way of nobody.
Well, until you get a big storm, and then you have a bigger mess.
Yeah, but Larry, if the same thing, if you blade it on mine and we get a big storm, then I've got.
Generally, you blade it both ways, you know, so you don't have a big ridge on one side, you just, you know, have like two smaller ridges, generally. I mean, that's what
But
you
it's,
do.
it's flat enough there too, you could make like an extra pass, if you get a ridge of snow, you could make another pass and push it farther. You know, you've got, matter of fact, some places, that road is actually on, I believe, on railroad property down there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I think a good portion of it is,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, but it could be, the snow could be bladed. They, at this point, they're apparently not complaining about anybody or city or anybody infringing or, you know, being on their property, so I don't think they would care. Plus, most of that along there is, it's got a slope, like from the top grade of the road down to the railroad tracks, it's probably 10 or 12 feet. So you could blade an awful lot of snow down over there before you'd ever get like a big ridge or get into a problem with, you know, with snow.
You also have to remember there's manholes along that edge too, that if we ever have sewer problems, you know, we don't wanna have this monster
Yeah.
snow. I mean,
Yeah, there's one on the other hand, like the last few years, since the city put in that water line that nobody uses, that,
Well, I would say
That-
people use it.
well, I'm not sure who's using it. But anyway, that
We didn't do
hydrant, that hydrant gets, the fire hydrant gets covered up. And I know with my insurance that, you know, that makes a difference on my insurance that there's a hydrant close, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that, I've gone down there and, one time I had another kid, I told him, I said, just dig enough so that they can see the tip of the hydrant so they know where it's at. Because there's been, in the wintertime, when you blade that way towards the mountain, if we get enough snow, it will cover that hydrant up easily. Matter of fact, in the summertime, a lot of times, if somebody else doesn't cut around there, the grass grows so high you can't see the hydrant. So I go down, I usually go down and cut like a keyhole around it so you can at least see it.
You know.
But, like I said, it's going on like 24 years for me.
Well, would it work for the first few times to blade it the other direction, to get some snow compact, and then at that point, you wouldn't be throwing much over?
About the only way to get snow compact is to leave more snow on the road and let it compact, you know. And then, of course, in the spring, then it gets sloppy, it melts, you know. But, I mean, but that's how you get compact, is by leaving, you know, snow on it. It just makes it hard to clean snow when you know, because what's gonna happen is, and not to pick on you, what's gonna happen is they're gonna go, okay, you do this for Bob down there, what about me? The next person goes, well, you do it for them too, what about me? Pretty soon you're going all over town, you know. The city has set a policy where you split the road in two, this goes this way, this goes this way. That was set many years ago. You know, because it's fair to everybody, and, you know, that's just the policy that they had set.
Well, isn't this kind of a unique situation down there where my place is? It's not like, kind of like all over town, it's just, the bus drivers, I was told, comes down, if you come straight down that road, you go right into my yard. And the road now goes right through the corner of my property, and then it makes a turn and goes down along the railroad tracks. And I was told that it was the bus drivers, when there started to be kids down in that neighborhood, that started driving there and made a road there. There is a, like First Street is supposed to run on the other side of my house, straight down into that next little tract of homes down there. That's,
Boy, I wish it did. You know, that would be so much nicer.
yeah, and it would probably be curb and gutter, you know, if that was completed. So I just got stuck, you know, with, I guess, a piece of property that's an unusual situation.
Well, we can try and do, you know, what we can to minimize it, you know, the snow in your yard. You know, granted, if there's like 3 inches of snow, it's not a big issue to put it all on one side, but if you have a foot of snow, you know, if you put 2 feet on this side and none on this side, and you get more wind, you're gonna have a mess. As far as the rocks in your yard, you know, you live on gravel. I don't wanna get in the habit of, you know, paying, you know, to remove gravel from people's yards because they live along a gravel street.
Well, but on the other hand, I don't know if you see my point or not, it's not, I mean,
I see your
the
point.
city's encroaching and trespassing and dumping stuff on my property that they shouldn't be.
Well, I will say though, is even in my yard and that, and I have pavement, you know, we spend a weekend cleaning our yard because we have all kinds of rocks and everything else. So it's not just the gravel, even on paved roads, you have that issue, you know? And it's amazing, you know, and that's not anybody's fault.
Well, with the chinks from the sand, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's all over town.
Yeah.
People spend a lot of time cleaning their boulevards off, you know.
I don't know, I just think it's kind of a, like I said, I don't know if you've got curb and gutter by your place or not.
Yeah, we do.
You know, that's kind of a different,
Yeah.
you know, kind of a whole different story. I'm sure once in a while you get some stuff up there too, but this, for the guys to blade when there's snow on the ground, just blindly, if, it's hard for them to, the only simple answer that I can see is to blade the other direction. Then they know they're not shooting stuff into my yard. And, like I said, all my roads and stuff where I live down there, I never complain. I pay all my specials, usually as soon as they come out, and I've got probably 3 loads of gravel hauled in there in the last 24 years.
No, and we understand where you're coming from, and, you know, it'd be nice to work, you know, something out, you know, but we just can't guarantee anything either.
I guess we can, you know, try to be more diligent about, you know, rocks in your yard.
Thing is, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of a narrow road. That's the other thing, you know, making when you make 2 passes.
It's a poor design, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as narrow as it is, the only answer is to like get it off into the other side, the other ditch.
Ryan, who usually cleans down there? Is it Blade or is it, try to get them on?
The horse apiece.
Yeah.
And they have been taking it to the other side. And then this year, they probably only went through there twice,
Yeah.
so.
But they have done it
Yeah.
the other way,
Yeah,
tried to help
and
out a
always,
little bit.
right, and then the thing always with, you know, it got to a certain point, then we ended up going with the loader to find where all those trees are. And then because it built up,
Right.
then we spend a half a day down there pushing all that out because of that.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, they've done some.
Well, I guess we'll try. You know, that's, come in the beginning of winter and maybe mention to Brian, hey, you know, we talked about this, see what we can do. And hopefully you'll remember that too, Brian, so.
Yeah, so we
I don't
can
know,
do.
anybody, anything else on it?
No compensation for me for this past year or two. For
I would have a
what I've
problem
put out. I put probably a couple grand it's cost me. I don't know, you may remember one time that got to be such a problem that when Keith Dew was here, he tried to get the whole the Board of Commissioners here, council to come down, he said, because he had come down and looked at it. And he said that one Saturday, he said, let's all show up with our rakes and do that. Well, Keith was the only one.
I know, he came down there, yeah.
Yeah, and it took him like, he was there for like 10 or 11 hours
Yeah.
raking, rocks, so, I mean, it is a big problem, and it does cost me every year. It's just another cost for me that, like I said, I paid all my specials without any complaints, for stuff that's been doing all over town, and I don't mind doing that, but
Yeah.
this, to me, seems like it could be rectified. So.
Well, like I said, the guys will just have to see what they can do. I mean, as far as, unless somebody else thinks different, I can't see paying. I mean, the problem is, you live on gravel and, people have pavement, so they don't have to put up with living along with gravel, and then they pay big money for pavement, so.
Yeah, but Larry, I pay big money for these people to have pavement and curb and gutter, and I keep ending up with nothing but gravel.
I have my own street that's gravel, and, yeah, I know, I pay for it too, so. Because my street is gravel, and I own my own street, so, and I still pay the specials too, so.
Anyway, I guess,
We'll see, we'll try to see what we can do, Bob, like Brian said, apparently they have been trying to move, help out, move it to the other side of the street.
yeah, that'd be good if they do, I think, well, that's the answer.
Right.
But it's kind of like, without being compensated in some way, it's sort of like, when the city does this again, what are my options but to?
Well, who owns that road? I mean, is that a city-owned road? So if it's a city-owned road, why are you paying out of your pocket to gravel that road?
No, he's
not
not picking up
gravel.
the gravel.
I'm not.
You just said you've hauled in loads of gravel over the past 25 years, right?
I have some, the city has hauled in and spread a few loads of gravel.
Oh, okay, all
That's,
right,
that's all.
okay.
Actually, my property, that whole street down there where it's next to the railroad tracks, we owned up that guy in the red house that's down from me. He said he had that surveyed, and he said there's a stake in the center. We own just about to the center of that road, and then the railroad owns up to our property. And like I said, this road was just, back in the old days, somebody started driving there, and they just kept driving there, and they went ahead and gravelled it. Instead of building that First Avenue, which is what my address is, coming down that, from the yard, that's First Avenue. But instead of going straight through to the other paved road down there, it jogs through the corner of my property and goes down the railroad.
I remember when he had that survey, and I don't think it went to the center of that road. I think it was pretty much off the road, if I remember correctly. But we can check that out, though. We can find pins and find out where the property line is, and maybe go from there.
Yeah, well, there's two big marker things down there.
Those two big posts, yeah, on your side.
When I was talking
Yeah.
to my neighbor there, and I forget his name now, I think he's sold the place now.
Right.
He said that he had measured out like 7 or 8 feet when he had it surveyed himself, he said, and the pin is out there in the middle of that road.
I think what we went by was the railroad map that shows what the railroad owns. Because the railroad owns like
Well, 50
50
feet.
feet, so,
But that's something we'll have to check on.
yeah. Brian, we'll check that out, okay?
Okay.
We'll check it out, Bob.
Okay.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving permit for Brian Sullivan. Planning and zoning, Had no problem with it, we recommended approval. So I will make a motion to allow that in. Signature.
Northfield.
Northfield.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? You guys all the picture already, it looks really
Yeah.
nice, so. Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did you wanna speak on that other issue at all, about, that we talked about at planning and zoning?
About throwing ordinance 128 out the window?
Is that which ordinance it is?
Yes, I think it is.
Is that, did you ever find out which? Okay. Anyway, they were kind of concerned about, we'll bring it up, right? Might as well.
Yeah.
Come on up.
I said, here you let Harold say.
Yeah, you're not holding it back. Besides, somebody else spoke for him.
So close.
But anyway, oh yeah, or Heidi and Joe. Anyway, they were wondering if there was a way to, speed up the approval of some of these mobile homes coming in to like this court,
This was talked about last year.
I know.
And the year before.
I know.
And it will be talked about in the future if we don't do something.
Well, I thought we had it settled.
I thought we did too, but we still go through planning and zoning, and then we come to city commission, and it gets approved, and we're inviting people to come and stay in our community, buy homes, bring mobile homes in,
Mhm.
and then we tell them they have to wait for hearings. And boards have been nice at holding special meetings, but none of the requests have ever been turned down, to the best of my knowledge. Some have been conditionally approved. What are we doing?
I thought this was all planned out, and I thought as long as, I wish we could go back to find out when exactly that was, but I know something had come up with Melissa and Daryl at their, or Dwayne at that time, about as long as it met the code coming in and everything it looked decent, then I thought them two were supposed to, say,
I don't know, I wasn't here then.
if the pictures were good, I thought they were the ones that would make the agreement.
I think you're right, Kid. I think there was some discussion along those lines. but-
Where we didn't have to have a special meeting, or,
Yeah.
I guess we were putting our trust in, be Joe now and
Desk approval.
and Larry, it'd be as your approval, so we didn't have to take 2 months or 3 months to get these people moved into our town.
And we could tell a new resident in a matter of hours, welcome to Washburn, rather than saying, send your $50 in and then wait 6 weeks.
And this would be just in trailer courts? Is that what we'd be talking
Well,
about?
the ordinance addresses all buildings, including mobile homes that are gonna be moved into the community, but
Which number was that?
128.
we see what it does
On Ride
to
Hut.
some people. They say, no, we need a place to live now, especially when we had a big rush going on. We probably turned away some residents because we couldn't accommodate. Tried to, talk to the mayor, talk to the city auditor, and cooperation was there, but it's a step in the process that
Well, I think, like I said, I mean, I'm just pretty sure that was all agreed upon. If they come down here with pictures and, do all the right paperwork, what they gotta fill out here and, that money, and it's all set right here in front of them. And if they can come down and meet with you and everything looks good, I really don't see a reason why everybody has to be here.
Don't you need to have some period of time just in case the residents would like to protest something?
They ain't gonna protest nothing, cause it's going in
there's no zoning.
in the trailer park.
Oh, we're just talking trailer parks?
Just trailer parks.
Oh, okay.
Strictly trailer park, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no zoning change that we're asking for. We can judge, as well as a board of commissioners or planning and zoning board, what we want to have in our park. If it's a piece of trash, we don't want that. So,
But how about the next owner?
well, you're right.
Well, if we're gonna do that, we need to change the ordinance. Right? I mean, we can say anything, but if your ordinance says this,
Yeah.
I mean, then it would be clear, rather than doing what we're doing now, is
Mhm.
addressing something that was
Yeah,
addressed
exactly.
before, you know? And we all know why this was put into place, but we won't say it. But yeah, I think it's, but where do you stop, you know? I mean, is it all buildings? I guess as long as they meet certain requirements, you know? And then I guess that would be up to, like you said, the president of the commission and the auditor, or Public Works or whatever, to go out and go, okay, this meets all the requirements, or it doesn't, this needs to go to this meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what that says on there? Does it say that? Do you have that?
No, and also on this, it doesn't say it has to go to planning and zoning. It says
No.
it just has to come to the commission, so that would save a step as well.
That would,
Mhm.
yeah, that would, and a meeting for the commissioners to discuss something that, yeah.
It just says upon receiving the required information, the city commission shall hold a hearing to determine the approval of a permit.
And didn't it like originally go to, or be shoved off on planning and zoning, so the commission wouldn't have to deal with that? You know, so, maybe to change it and say, if it's questionable, then it has to go to planning and zoning to make a recommendation or something. Like that
But
possible.
what is planning and zoning gonna make a recommendation on when it's going in? It ain't something being built on a city lot, you know, I mean, it's going into a place where planning and zoning, they really have nothing.
But
Well, this is not just mobile homes. This is like any structure being moved into town.
Yeah, but we're just talking about a mobile home. is
For
what
this-
we're-
for this part,
yeah.
right.
I mean, this is what he's concerned about.
Right.
Is just the mobile home coming in. So I don't think we really have to change anything on like, the residential lots, or something like that, any of that code. I think we just need to address this.
But if it's a rush and they can go directly to the city commission, what would be the downsides of that? We could
Well,
have a
if they
special
come
meeting,
in
we could
on,
have a-
if they
We have
come
one meeting
in
a month,
on
that's the problem.
Tuesday of week 2, the next commission meeting is not until the following month on Monday. So that means they wait an entire month before they can bring their home into Washburn.
But if it's kind of an emergency thing, we couldn't have a special meeting on that?
You can always have a special meeting.
I just hate to give away, like for example, if the residents or somebody have a concern, yes, everybody we're talking about might have the best intentions in mind, but there might be people in the future that don't.
Well, then, and that's why you have ordinances, you have to protect the future as well, as well as man. Well, I guess, so we're kind of in agreement, we need to change something.
What was that number,
Research it a little bit, or-
128.
I think Kit remembered better than I did about prior discussions. Maybe there's something in the minutes from a few years ago where that commission did say the city auditor could review, and if it's a 1995, 2000, 2005 home that looks nice, approve it. Welcome the people, waive the $50 fee, and encourage the Economic Development Board to include them in the Welcome to Washburn packet of goodies.
Well, they still need a building permit.
To bring mobile home,
I don't know, you're supposed to have one to bring one in.
moving permit.
Oh, I believe it's a building permit,
You gotta go to like whatever county you're in and.
We have 2 moving permits in Washburn and McLean County, one through the county that has to be issued by state directive, and one through the city of Washburn.
I think the planning and zoning ordinance says you need a building permit to bring one in, but I'm not sure. And that might be something we need to look at,
Okay.
Possibly, I don't know.
Okay.
I believe it's
A building permit for moving permit?
bring a mobile home in.
Well, we've always just had the moving permit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
We
called a
haven't,
moving
we
permit.
haven't used the building permit.
Yeah, I think it says that, but I could be wrong.
Well, enough discussion on that.
Okay, it's just little
Lay
things we
out
need
the-
to, we'll check into it and see what we
Okay.
can come up with.
Thank you for the approval.
You bet.
Let Brian know that he's welcome to come and join us.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Letter of appreciation from Painted Woods Golf Course. Everybody read that? I'm not going, I think it'd be a conflict of interest, but that's just me. And like you're getting special treatment for giving them something, but if you guys want to, I don't care.
Yeah, realistically, it should have been an open house for the community, because that's
Right.
who gave the money.
Right.
I understand that point of view, but just so you guys are aware that they did not mean any
No.
insult or.
Oh, no, no,
we're
no,
not-
no.
I mean,
I know.
this is a genuine invitation to show their thanks, so
If anybody
if
is
it's not
interested,
received appropriately.
anybody's
I
interested in what this
apologize on
is,
behalf.
it's, as an appreciation, they asked the commissions of, let's see,
Washburn,
area
Wilton.
commissions, go ahead.
Washburn, Wilton, and I believe McLean County.
Was it McLean County too? WEDA.
Yeah.
WEDA's in here. Oh yeah, McLean County. They offered a steak supper and possibly a round of free golf on a date, June 23rd. If anybody's wondering what this is about. Personally, I'm not going.
I'm not either.
But I mean, I appreciate the offer, so. Okay, RDO equipment proposal for lawn tractor.
One tractor?
Yep.
Okay, Kit, this was you, right?
Yeah, we, got talking, we got one mower here and one guy doing it. And it takes him a week to mow everything, and by the time he gets done mowing, he's gotta go back and start over. And to me, that don't make sense. If we can get another one, and there's two options here. One option is, let's see, I gotta see the numbers here. One is a zero turn. So it'd be a Z997 model, brand new. That will be a,
Is that a gas?
no, that will be a diesel, I believe.
Because it doesn't say, the other one says, this one doesn't.
Yeah, when you looked at the brochure, that 997 was a diesel. I did tell Brent that we wanted diesel in either one of them. If we could get a diesel in the zero turn,
Well, that would make sense.
because I wasn't sure if you know if we could. It's been a while since I've been there, so. But that zero turn is
What's
gonna,
the other mower we have? Is that
that's a four-wheel one.
is that a gas or diesel?
That's a diesel. It's a 3-cylinder diesel. That'd be the same thing as this other one, that 1545. And that one will have a 72-inch deck on it. And that one will be just like what we have now. It'll be the four-wheel. I don't believe it ain't gonna be the four-wheel drive like that one, but it will be the four wheels with the rear steer. And that one's at 150, 15.
When RDO dropped these off, he made a point to let me know that the city gets an 18% discount. So it's very generous.
But that's not on here, right?
That is
It
on
is
here.
on here.
That is.
Oh, that's figured on here already?
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess my concern is, I mean, this is a lot of money, and we really don't budget for it. We
Mhm.
haven't. You know, and we really need another flatbed truck, because that one we have is definitely on its last leg. You know, because that's our spare sander truck. That's my concern.
Well, like I said, I just went out and got
Yeah,
these.
no,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
it's everything that we gotta look at too, and especially with, I mean, if we're having one guy do nothing but mowing, that's, you know, especially a guy that's, you know, we really depend on for other things throughout the community, and now that we got the summer kids here.
Well, basically, that's what they're doing though, is mowing and
Yeah.
weed eating and, you know, and that's why we have summer help, I guess,
Mhm.
you know. If we didn't have summer help, oh man, you know, yeah, it'd be tough to keep up.
It's tough to keep up now the way it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, mowing that, all down the 83 there, I mean, that's outrageous. I mean, that's a lot of,
Well, they just mow like the intersections, you know, they don't mow the whole.
oh, they mow the whole thing.
No, No.
He walked all the way down that bike, that walk path.
Oh, maybe along the bike path,
Yeah,
but.
not the ditch or
Yeah.
nothing like, no, but I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
that
from
thing. Yeah, that
two
thing.
more
Right,
west
yeah, that
on
thing.
the other side of that, all the way.
Yeah,
You know,
that,
that's all mowed.
Kip,
Yeah.
I was going to say, I walked that trail today. And I want to say thank you to whoever is mowing. That looks so nice. And yes, they were doing the ditches. A lot of this area, the ditches and everything was mowed. And that was so nice. Not one mosquito or anything. And I just want to say, I thought maybe it was Kim Zimmerman that was doing it.
I think
But it was
he
very-
has been doing a lot of
Okay,
it.
very nice. And I just wanted to say thank you for keeping it up, because it's
Oh, I'm glad.
very good.
Did, you know, I just come into town from Underwood too today. Did the big tractor go out and start mowing the ditches along 83? Or-
that's been.
Is
How come
it
the
Bob
state don't
Frank
do it?
that's doing the
They will,
the
like,
trees
once a
and
year.
everything?
Yeah, boy,
Don't
he's
put
doing
it
a
on.
nice job.
I knew that, I
Excellent
brought it up.
job. Looks very nice.
It's on part of the forestry, takes care of all that. And he comes in
So
with
would this
hire
fit
company.
into our budget somewhere for this year, or would we?
We
have-
can, yep,
Well, we could fit anything into the budget.
yeah.
It's just, I mean, I thought we should look at it, but I guess I didn't realize we needed a pickup too, or a bigger truck or
A
what.
flatbed, you know, that extra sander goes on that flatbed. It's that blue one, that they use as
Oh,
a tar truck.
Oh, okay.
And we had Tim, do some work on the transmission just to keep it going for this year. Hopefully it'll make, it's been running okay, Brian?
Yeah, it's been so far.
But it's about dead.
Well, what, you know, something like that, can't we go down to the surplus and
If they have something.
they have, yeah.
I mean, I check Bizman all the time in their commercial stuff, and, I mean, I'm checking it all the time, and then, you know, I'll look at like the GSA sites and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
You know, I'm always checking that, so I haven't found anything yet, but I look at it every week, so. I guess I would like to see this in the budget, that's my personal feeling, but if you guys, you know, wanna go somewhere else with this, that's fine too.
Now, did we have an issue with the mower we have now as far as breaking down? And
What?
John Deere fixed it, or what was the issue?
A bearing went out on it,
Oh, okay.
and then, right,
On which more?
the big mower, well,
Wait.
2 weeks ago, that bearing went out on it.
You talking about the big mower, or the
No, the-
6 foot one?
The 6 foot.
The riding mower or the pull
Well,
behind
I have
tractor?
no idea.
Oh,
Oh, yes, it did,
on the riding mower?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
A bearing on the mower deck, I'm assuming?
yes,
Oh,
okay.
yes. Mhm.
That's, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about on the mower
Oh,
itself.
okay.
And
I change at
no.
least one of those a year on mine.
They come from, with no greaser from factory.
I know.
And then after you buy a new one, then there's a zircon, imagine that.
We deal with that up at the cemetery. Little research on them. bearings.
So what do you guys wanna do? You wanna? Oh, Mike wants to leave. You guys wanna budget it for next year, or you wanna do something on it this year, what do you wanna do?
Could I also say another thank you? I would like to thank, I don't know, I think it was Joan, the day that all of us, some of us were getting that sludge in our basements. And I didn't know who to call, because Jean called me at 4:45 in the morning and asked if I had mud in my basement. Thankfully, I didn't. But I just had other stuff in the back bedroom. But anyway, I tried calling Brian, and at that time of morning, his phone was off.
Yeah, and I didn't get Jones, and I had 3 calls from her too, and I never got the messages.
Oh, okay, well, anyway, she said she called Joan, so thank you, Joan, for
I'm glad it's
getting on
worked out
top
for
of
you.
everything, yeah,
You're
and
welcome.
for all the help that you did. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was very nice, and so, thank you.
Thank you. Anyway, Paul, let's put this in the budget for next year. Is that good with
Yeah, I
everybody, or?
I agree.
Okay. So if you wanna make a note for the budget for next year. Wonderful.
Which one?
Well, I don't know, we'll decide what the prices are then, I suppose. probably the bigger one,
The budget one,
$20,000. Right?
They're both the same size, I mean, they're both gonna be a 72-inch deck, and I think, I'm more leaning towards the zero turn, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah? That's the first one?
Yeah, that's the 15,939.
Well, let's just put 20,000 in the budget.
Yeah.
You know,
That doesn't mean that.
doesn't mean we have to spend it, at least we have enough then. Okay.
That's one I'd like to get, if we can get that in a diesel, and I'm pretty sure
Right.
that them brochures did say that 997. If it was, only came as a diesel, or if that was an option, but that's,
Okay.
I haven't talked to Brent since we got this and looked.
Why
at
did diesels always go on?
Yeah, I mean, they don't wear out, I mean, they go forever, so.
Okay, camera, video system for city meetings. Did anybody watch the thing on the website? Anybody but me?
How'd it look?
You know, it wasn't bad. It was a little bit grainy. It was kind of hard to hear some of the stuff though. But it wasn't bad. But basically it did what it was supposed to do. Is there any way to get like an external mic you can?
And I think the sound setting on it was off, not off, but it wasn't adjusted correctly.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's mini cameras where you can get an external mic
Okay.
to put on there. And again, this is my personal camera.
Right, exactly.
So at basketball games, the microphone isn't.
So if we went with $500, that would cover the camera like that?
Absolutely.
What,
Get a camera, and we need a tripod because that's Sharon's tripod.
how many megapixel is that?
I
Should say right up front there, but I can't read it from here.
On
You
the
can
front?
look right into the lens. No,
There's
it isn't.
60,
Huh?
60 optical.
That's a zoom.
I don't know.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
Well, and for the length of we didn't film it in high definition last month, just because of the length of the meeting, because sometimes that comes into play, so all of that would be, you know, something that you can
Mhm.
tailor for the needs, for what we need, that.
I mean, you could see it, I mean, and you could tell what everything was, it was just a little grainy, you know, but,
And then we need a little better sound.
better sound would help. I could hear Sharon talking just great on it, because she's right next to it, but yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, let's set $700 because 5 might be a little short, we don't have to spend it all. I mean, that's my thought. And I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think that'll work. I'll move that we buy a camera and tripod for no more than $700.
And then external mic, whatever.
Yeah, external mic, wireless maybe.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second? Huh?
You're talking about cameras in the hallway and stuff?
No, just for the meeting.
Just one.
Just the camera for the meeting.
I'll second it. Any further discussion on it? Keith?
Aye.
Good.
No.
No.
Aye, it doesn't matter, it failed because it was tie.
Is there something we'd wanna go with?
You know, I guess I'm not really understanding why are we recording, or what, I mean, is this for future references, or?
For the.
Well, it can be.
It could be on the website, it can also be, on our community access channel, so the citizens can watch it.
You know, that would make more sense
Yeah.
to me, I guess, than a website, because honestly, you guys go to the website and watch the video? They don't, you know.
Well, the thing about the website is, you can watch it whenever you want.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's on the access channel, you gotta be watching at 3
Well,
o'clock in the afternoon that.
You can post it on
certain day.
both then, I mean, if you wanna watch, post
Yeah,
it on the.
Can it be posted on the?
On the website, and then.
It is on the website.
It is on the website.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know, that's
It's
what
on
that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
leave them on the website, but
Yeah.
put it to the access channel too.
Yeah, right.
We can, the only,
You know.
absolutely, the only thing with putting it on the access channel is, we have to be here for it. So it's not something that's gonna run at night, because whatever is on the screen, on the computer screen is what you see on the access channel.
Mm.
And that's fine, we have no problem running it whatsoever.
It's just
on
right now
the
we're
access channel. It's just a matter of,
It's just
that
right
is
now,
just
we're-
a,
yeah.
now we're starting it, now it's shut off, and
Mhm.
it's going back to the regular access
And we're
channel.
using their equipment right now, that's the problem.
Yeah, you're using our personal equipment, we'd like to stop.
Is there something else you guys would like, something different, or less?
And the thing is, what it is let people be more informed of what's going on, you know?
And we started doing this at the request of the commission. It was requested that the meetings be videotaped and put on the website and
Yeah,
access
I-
channels.
So it's more open.
But like I said, I mean, if they were just doing this to put it on the website, I just don't foresee they getting used that much, you know what I mean?
But it's the idea of being open.
Yeah, it's open, that don't mean nothing, that's just, everything's open, you know? But whatever, yeah, I guess, I don't know.
If this was put on the access channel, would we be able to hear it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking like soft voices, like Joan has a soft voice, you know,
Yes.
would that carry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it died because it was a tie.
So are we against getting a camera or filming it, or what's our plan?
No, I'm not really against it, I guess, I just didn't realize if it was, you know, like if we could put it on the access channel, if it was just on the website, I didn't feel the $700 for a camera and all this stuff was, it just wasn't gonna get used, I mean, that's what I was getting at, I mean, I don't feel if it was just gonna be on the website, that the people in the community, you know, that it's gonna be feasible for us to, you know, spend that kind of money just to have that out there for them. But, I mean, if we could do something different where it's, and I know, I mean, here you're looking at a two-hour meeting, 2.5 hours, but if a guy ran on the access channel, you know, maybe twice a day or something like that,
Yeah, and do both.
you know?
Well, you can't run it on there twice a day every day, I mean, I wouldn't think.
One of the problems is though, if we run it at a certain time, people come in during the day and you have to be there to stop it also to get it back to the access channel. So you're kinda like babysitting the access channel at that point. So you have to
So
make,
what, you guys gotta babysit that computer all day long?
not
No,
now.
it's on a PowerPoint, and with a PowerPoint, so it's just, essentially what we do is we have a PowerPoint presentation, and you can schedule the slides to transition however often
Sure.
you want. If we were to leave the link live, if we were typing the slides up, you would see us typing them up. Whatever is being shown on the computer screen, if we connect and press it live, then everyone would be able to see that. So what happens is when we run something off of a video, off of a disc, and we've done that in the past, we've had Cottonwood playing and we showed one of the girls' basketball games. We shut the PowerPoint off and then we play the disc or whatever we want. And then when it's over, we turn the PowerPoint back on. So
So if we did that, that would tie up a computer, you're saying? Why are you having to stop when somebody comes in?
it's
That's
two
where I
different,
go.
it's two different programs. The computer will transition between two programs by itself.
That has its own computer, right?
Yes.
But I guess if you got people that are coming in to talk to you, why do you gotta stop it? I'm lost there.
She was just saying when it's done, it's just a blank screen. And it's fine.
Then you have to do the
We can
PowerPoint.
try it, that's
Yeah.
fine.
I mean, it might be a pain in the ass, put it that way, literally, but I think that would be more, to me, I could see spending that kind of money if something like that could be done, because then everybody's gonna get a chance to see it and not just, you know, 'cause how many people really have computers where they can, you know, most of them do. But, I mean, just thinking, you know, the elderly ones, you know, a lot of them don't have it. And they're kind of the ones that can't get out here, and that's what we're trying to get to.
I agree with you.
You know, for these specials and what's going on with the roads, and they're the ones that we're really trying to go out to, you know, that's what I feel.
Yeah.
But if something like that, then I'm for it, Larry, you know, but
Yeah, we're trying to reach as many people as we can, keep
Exactly.
everybody informed as
Yeah.
much as we can.
Put your
so.
thoughts to it.
I understand what you're saying, but there's chairs here, nobody's here.
Yeah, that too, and I mean, the last 2 meetings, we've had more people in here than we have in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, except for that one meeting, it was pretty full.
Do we want to bring it up again, or do you just want to let it go?
I'll make a motion that we spend up to that $700 again.
Well, we gotta rescind our last motion.
We did.
No, that failed because it was a tie.
With the use of that going towards the website and the access channel.
I would like, before you move forward, excuse me, I would like to be very honest, to play it twice a day, every day.
I don't think that's.
That's a
every
little
day.
bit, why, you had kind of said that, and that's a.
No, I never said every day, I just said like twice a day. I didn't say nothing about every day.
Okay.
No.
So maybe just once or twice after the meeting, because every day.
Maybe once a week or something, I don't know.
Yeah, and have on there.
Yeah. I was just
on
saying,
these
you know,
days.
twice a day is about all a guy wanted anymore because, you know, 2.5, 3 hour meeting on there.
I just envisioned us playing it twice a
Yeah.
day for 30 days.
That's what it sounded like, yeah.
No, I never,
That's a bit much.
I just meant, you know, the most it could go is twice a day. That's all I meant. If I said every day, I'm sorry, I didn't mean every day.
Well, what would happen is, it would be, there would be a thing that come up there and go, that June 9th City Commission meeting will be aired on, say, 2:45 on Thursday,
Tuesday, Thursday, yeah.
14th.
Mhm.
And then, if people want to see it, then they can go on there. Or they can go on the website and look at, watch it anytime,
Yeah.
so. Okay, we have a motion? I'll second it. Any more discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye. Okay, Jasper,
Yes.
finally. Oh, boy. You sign.
Bringing this guy out again. Just want to talk about the area shown in yellow here. Through some discussions with Larry and looking at some of the sewers on a couple of these streets, wanted to bring back to the commission that the sewer line that runs on 6th here for these 2 blocks, and then on 9th here for 1 block, we're recommending after televising that it should be replaced. So we can't just go and do that on this project. So we're looking at just eliminating those blocks from the project.
Why?
Because the sewer should be replaced.
Why do you want to eliminate it? Isn't that being done right now?
The sewer was not planned to be done, just the road.
Oh.
So we'd like to, not do that and come back again, maybe in a future project and make sure the sewer gets done first.
Doesn't pay to
Because we can't,
put a new road over a bad line.
and because.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to put the road, you don't want to do nothing there, just quit it, yeah.
Because of the way the assessment districts work, it takes so much time to do all the resolutions for the, you've sat through them resolutions. It takes a while to get them done, to get a district set up. And so, I mean, it would have been really nice if we could have just change ordered a couple blocks of sewer into the project, but it just doesn't work that way. So I would recommend, this 1 block of 6 is kind of questionable. I would honestly recommend not doing that either, because when they come back and do all this work, you'd like to give them an outlet to get down to Main Street.
Jasper,
Yep.
could we put
Yeah,
that map over there so,
so-
and against the wall?
So
Sure.
all this can see you hear what's
So
going
that
on?
we could see what's going on, the commission could see it too if it's up against the
Are you
wall.
talking about 14th Street?
No, we're over on the other.
Okay, I'm sorry.
These are just this is just the paving part of the project, so there was no underground or utility work in the streets in yellow. And so.
We're
they
talking
were just
6th Street up from the Lewis and Clark Cafe,
Oh, I see,
and then
okay.
9th
okay.
Street up.
Right up
here.
here.
Okay. I didn't realize that was having work.
And-
And the bottom of 3rd Street.
Yeah. So, I think we would like to add in 8th Street, this one block of 8th, that's really bad.
From Main going up to 4th.
So I'll just back up a little bit. I talked to the contractor about seeing what they'd be comfortable with eliminating. In our contract, we do have some leeway to eliminate some portion of the project, but this was a kind of a significant chunk of road work. And the blacktop, the paving contractor did take some exception to eliminating all that area. So we tried to come up with, well, if we take away a few, these 3 blocks that have the sewer, or can we add a couple back in to exchange, to keep it close? There's 7 blocks of street work there. We're not gonna get back to 7 blocks, I don't think, but we can get close. So, we were proposing to eliminate 6th Street and this one block of 9th. Add in 8th Street. We leave 3rd Street in there. That street's pretty bad the way it is. I know, Larry, you had talked about maybe this one block on 5th.
Could add that block in front of Tim Doctor's.
Mm.
'Cause there's no major utilities under there. Then we'd also talked about, on 5th Avenue there, that goes to that apartment building. The way that was designed, it was designed with a center drain. Center drains don't work. We should change that so we put a curb along the north side and then slope the road. So it all goes down the north side. It wouldn't really take a lot of work, right? I mean, that'd be just a little bit of.
That's down that dead end, right? That
Yes.
one down there?
Yeah, that is center drain, it's always been a problem, Problem with center drains, when you're cleaning snow, you're gouging out that, you're always gouging it out, and then pretty soon you got holes, because your blade doesn't sit into a drain, so. And that would be a very, very minor change order to do that. You'd add, 75 feet of curb probably. So,
We were looking at doing some curb here on 6th anyway, so it's.
right.
The net on this is we're reducing probably 2 blocks of road work. So you would be eliminating 4 blocks, 3 blocks on 6th, 1 block on 9th, adding 8th Street, adding 1 block on.
Do we run into a little bit of an issue where we have people that were expecting to be secondary, and now all of a sudden they're gonna become primary, and they're gonna be like, holy cow?
But it's my understanding that it's a citywide assessment, so everybody had an opportunity to protest. the
Yeah, but
project.
it's still gonna be primary versus secondary. We can say that, but it's gonna mean a lot of money for some people.
How do you know that there was primary and secondary? There's no
Well,
ordinance that the
I
city
know.
has that
I
says
know.
the assessment will be.
I realize that.
Right.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, not this year, it'll be next year probably
Yeah.
in that project, so, Anyway, that was kind of the proposal that we talked about. Because we really need to take 6th and 9th out of there, because there's just no way, you can't cover up a bad
No.
sewer system, just can't do it. So. So what do we need for this? We need approval on this, or what do we need?
Yeah,
I would imagine.
somebody would need to make a motion first,
Okay.
I think I kind of spoke on your behalf there.
And
Yes,
there's
you
no, it doesn't matter that they did not have a chance to protest the
They
project
did
out
have it.
specifically.
They
But
did have
not,
a chance.
not this way.
I guess what they're asking is this, I mean, this is one project, how you're changing it and gonna take away from some and add to other people. Does that relate to a whole different scenario here? I think that's what they're getting by, right? I mean, that, now they're asking all these other people, I mean, now, is this a whole new work order where we'd have to let people protest at another deal?
You're looking at a primary assessment, which is considerably more than a secondary assessment. I mean, it's a considerable amount of money that is going to be redesignated to people who have not been expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a good point.
I mean, it's my understanding that when you
It's not
do
thousands,
a
it's
significant
thousands.
project like this, it's much different than if you were doing a project where it just had 2 blocks of street work. And then all of a sudden, where you created a district for 2 blocks of street work, and then all of a sudden you're doing 1 block over here. Here we're doing a significant portion of town in a citywide street assessment. So the scenario is a little different if you're doing 1 block here versus 1 block there, because we could pave into an intersection, you know, a little further, because all of a sudden it started cracking up or whatever, and all of a sudden lots on the other side of that intersection are gonna get included because they touch the project. That happens, you know, in these types of projects, because they're so big. It's definitely a concern, and, you know, I guess that's something you need to consider if, you know, with adding other blocks, I guess.
We need to talk to David about this or not?
What did Quam say? You want to do this? Change order?
Well, we started with asking Quam if we could eliminate what they would say if we eliminated the whole thing. And the paving contractor took exception to that. So
Because they put up so much material.
Yeah, they had already put up some material for the project, and they, you know, have an expectation to make a certain amount of profit on the project. I mean, you could eliminate it, and then they could come back and say, well, we expected to have $10,000 worth of profit, and I would say you will lose that fight. You know, you'll end up paying.
What about paving the exit outside of town, the first exit into town? Where it doesn't have direct residential impact as a primary.
Certainly an option. I
We
guess.
had discussed that too, Jasper and I did. I find it really, in my opinion, I find it really hard to tear that out and redo it when we have streets in town that really need it a lot worse. You know, I don't think people are gonna wanna do a $250,000 project on a road that isn't that bad. But you look at 8th Street here and it's terrible, you know, so that was my opinion on that.
Well, I can see what these guys are asking and worried about, but in the same sense, it's gonna happen, I guess, one way or another. I mean, they're gonna get fixed, whether it's, like you said, this year or next year. I don't, it's kinda sound mean saying that, but I mean, it is a fact. I mean,
Yeah. The odds of it being protested out next year would be almost none because it's a citywide assessment, so. I don't know, do we need David's opinion on that or not? I don't know.
I'm sure Jasper's done his research.
Yeah.
It's something to consider. I don't know, I
I'm
honestly, I don't know.
certainly not the city
But you
attorney,
can
but,
flex with it,
I mean, you know, in the questions I've asked, you know, when it's a significant portion of the town and you're doing a citywide assessment, you know, a block here, a block there isn't gonna be that big of a deal. If you were doing a small project and you tried to change something significant, then, you know, and I also think you would have issues if you had a specific ordinance on how assessments will be determined, if you don't.
That's true.
That's the point. When you say citywide assessment, it's pretty much what the assessment committee comes up with. Do we know what they're gonna do yet?
Nope.
You know, are they gonna do a 50-50? Are they gonna do a bullseye, or are they gonna do a square foot? You can say citywide assessment, but until they make a decision, you don't know how it's gonna be divvied up.
No, that's right, exactly.
Do you have the final say in what the assessments are, what they say, or?
We can deny what they say, what
Oh, okay.
they're, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. And then they would just have to go back with a different plan?
That's the way I understand it.
Oh, okay.
The assessment committee has met a couple of times.
Okay.
But, we've had a lot of changes, and so,
Right.
last month we took off some of there was some buy down on the project
Right,
that was
right.
just approved at this meeting, and then changes in the streets, so any work that they have done, we're basically gonna start over.
Right, right.
And when the project is still kind of far out, so,
Yeah, right.
the completion of it, so they have some time to go ahead.
And I'm
to-
sure because of the unexpected expenses, especially when they had to bring in the gentleman from Montana to go through
Yeah.
rock, you know, that's another expense that.
So things
wasn't-
kind of changed, but they are working on it, but,
Okay.
there's some new factors here.
Right,
so.
right, I know.
I guess if you guys don't wanna add any streets in that aren't on here, then I would just recommend maybe leaving this one block of 6 in there. So then we'd only be leaving, we'd be taking out 3 of the 7 blocks there. I mean, that's not ideal either, but
No.
maybe then you're not.
I mean, it would be nice if we could get Fifth in there, then Fifth would all be done, but, you know.